hella hot.
Oh my
Hi, we're
God.
live.
I know. We're live and we're hot. Hello. Hello, everybody. We're so glad you are with us today on this episode of Girlfriends of a Certain Age. And I'm your host, Jessica.
And I'm your other host, Fleshy.
And we are girlfriends in real life, and we're coaches. And we also love to run this podcast to talk about things that are meaningful to women in midlife, look at them through sometimes a healing lens, sometimes through a pop culture lens. And today we are definitely deep diving into the pop culture with Heated Rivalry.
Hot,
Hello,
hot,
hot.
hot, hot, hot.
Hot on that ice. We were laughing too, Flage, when we talked about doing this. We were like, okay, we are so late to the party. It's March, and that was a thing just a few months ago. But I don't know about you. I sometimes feel like it's so hard to keep up with the latest trend that, we're gonna talk about this. So be
We're
it.
going
It's
to
a few
talk
months.
about it when we're good
Yeah.
and ready. And I think you and I have had some time to digest it.
Yep.
And if you haven't seen the show Heated Rivalry, y'all, how did I watch it? Was it on Netflix?
It's on HBO. Yeah.
On HBO. Okay, so not
Mhm.
everybody will have access to it. But if you can try, I highly recommend checking out this show, Heated Rivalry. Oh my gosh, it feels like this romance story. And y'all, I won't bury the lead. It's between two men. It is so beautiful, so well done, so touching. And apparently, ladies our age are all abuzz
Yeah.
about making us feel some feels about it. And so we thought we needed to deep dive about this and have a conversation from our perspective. Two besties. We're recording this live, y'all, on St. Patrick's Day. We're both Irish,
That's
whether you
right.
can tell it or not. So we're representing and wanting to just get into this conversation because it's just so fun. Yeah.
It's so fun. It's so fun. Yeah. And why is it that it speaks, the Heated Rivalry speaks so much to women and I think girlfriends of a certain age? Because boy, I sure know a lot of my friends, including you, have been like, you've got to see this, you've got to see this, you've got to see this. Yeah. It's been
Yeah.
a powerful thing. So, what is one of your hot takes about why it is landing for us? What makes this show? Oh, and for those of you who for some reason haven't heard about it yet, it's basically a romance between two hockey players in Canada. And it gets real steamy real fast, but they go through kind of a whole courtship it's complicated. But what do you think about that story, Flachet, really speaks to girlfriends of a certain age?
You know, I've been thinking about this a lot. I was thinking about it a lot even while I was watching it. I was like, why can I not tear myself away from this charming and unique and different? It was such a different lens. And I think that's what it was. It was such a different lens. Like for me, I live in the Bay Area. I have lots of gay friends and family members. And like, for me, that's just been part of the fabric of my life.
Mhm.
And so hearing stories, but I wouldn't see them represented well in media or in movies or shows, or at least not the shows I was watching. So there was something so refreshing to see two masculine, beefy, just men like
Docs. Yeah.
having this vulnerable love story and this complicated love story. And I think part of why so many women at this stage of life are into it is we are so much more open minded. I think we're realizing, wait a minute. We were told we needed to look a certain way and dress a certain way. Relationships needed to look a certain way. They didn't last forever. Very heteronormative, just a
Yes.
lot of toxic stuff. And I think that now that we have lived a little, we have loved a little, we have hurt a little,
Yeah.
all these things, we're realizing nothing is so simple, nothing is so cut and dry, and nothing fits in the box, y'all. And we all need to come out of the closet around something in our lives. We're all
Mm.
holding on to different kinds of secrets and ways that we want to be self-expressed, be ourselves, and be natural. And I think that is so much of what spoke to me about Heated Rivalry.
Mm. Oh my gosh. Yes, yes, and yes. I love this idea that we are becoming more open minded. I mean, really, in midlife, you're almost going through another metamorphosis, right? It's your second spring. It's kind of a second puberty, just in a different way. The hormones are all over the place. So there is a connection I found myself feeling towards the young lovers, right? Towards these, I think they started in their late teens into their 20s as the story goes. And that feeling of the first love and, the complicated courtship that was a part of it. I loved how messy it was. I loved how real it was. And also, yes, from, gay friends of mine, just speaking as an ally, they really loved the idea that it wasn't just trauma, which is so often what is displayed on screen. I mean, I think that, the show did speak to some of the complexities of being closeted and, how difficult that is to navigate. But there was joy, there was love, there was romance as well. And I just don't think we see that on the screen very much. And this really took off. I mean, it went viral to places that, and to people that I don't think would usually take in this kind of, show. And it's interesting. It was written by a woman. It's based on a whole series. And so there is a connection that I think you and I and women like us are feeling into, of like, yes, this is a more open-minded view of what a romance truly is.
Yeah. Yeah, and we see it, we know this firsthand. So many women will get to midlife and they'll be like, "You know what? I've been married to a man for all these years, but he's not doing it for me. It turns out I want something different. Maybe I want to be with a female partner, same sex partner." I think a lot of women are also waking up to that, or we're seeing it in our girlfriends.
Yeah,
So I think there's something in the culture that's like allowing us to like kind of like shake out, like when you take clothes out of the dryer and you snap it out to get those wrinkles out. I feel like everyone is doing that on different ways. And so to see a movie that, like when you and I were growing up in the 80s, this is the kind of thing that would have been banned,
absolutely.
right? Like this very conservative, oh no, it's destroying the fabric of our world. And now people are like, no, that's some good TV and it's hella hot.
It's hella
And
hot.
I get to be a part. It's like I felt like pulled into the story.
Yeah,
And it was
yeah.
interesting because I don't know anything about hockey. I'm not a sports person. So I think
Same.
that was part of it too. I was learning about this new sport, the culture of it, or at least the way it was being portrayed on this TV show. Everything about it felt so fresh and so
Yeah,
interesting. And it was just some damn good storytelling. And
it
watching
was.
that slow burn, I mean, I think it was like 8 years where they were just like having this courtship and romance and will we, won't we? And oh, we did. And are we going to do it again? And
Yeah,
it fans that alive, at least for me, of like, oh right, I remember those kinds of relationships, that longing and like, oh, it's bad, or we shouldn't be doing this, or what would others think?
yeah.
And to have that memory again at this stage of life is like very enlivening.
Yes, yes. And so much in your 20s too. It's like, are you on the same page at the same time? Like, I always felt in romance that there was just this push and pull of who's more into it and who isn't. And, the kind of like showing up for each other and being a little more sincere, or trying to be more cool and play it cool on the down low, right, like we saw these two hockey players with really different personalities coming together. And then let's also not forget the other really sweet storyline between Scott and Kip, and that was one that ended really beautifully on ice, televised in front of everybody. And again, this just did feel like a celebration of a kind of love story that we don't really get to see that often. And I think that's why it is resonating for so many of us right now, when honestly, a lot of people's rights are under attack. To just sort of proclaim this out in the open is really beautiful. Fun little movie making fact: this was produced by a very small production in Canada, where they had a lot of free agency to make this, and then it was bought by HBO. But it was it was shown as a premiere on HBO and on the smaller place in Canada at the same time. And what that means, Felicia, is it means they had total artistic freedom, or I shouldn't say total, but they had a whole lot more than had they signed on with a huge, mammoth company like HBO. There was something in the freedom of the storytelling, even in the sex, that was really real and just felt like it wasn't there to manipulate, it was there to help further the story, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think in those ways, it felt a little bit like Bridgerton to me, and like what I love
Oh,
about
yes.
Bridgerton, and like all the steamy, sexy scenes is part of what I really liked about Heated Rivalry.
So much. It was really fun. I mean, it was so binge worthy. It was like the next one and the next one and the next one because yes, that
Yeah.
was part of the storytelling. I also don't know about you. I I am a romantic. I don't always go for romance shows, but this one really was if you look at the storytelling structure, it was like a traditional romance. First being a novel and then turned into a series. Girl, I fell head over heels for it. And sometimes I'm a little more skeptical about these things, but this one just got me hook, line, and sinker. I mean, are you a romance girl? What would you say?
Oh hell yeah, girl! Right now, what's my show? I was gonna say The Bridges of Madison County. Of course, was also a great show. But what's out right now? What's out right now?
Bridgerton?
No,
No.
The River, Lonely River.
Oh,
I
see,
can't.
I'm not a romance, so I'm like,
Oh,
I
see,
don't
I'm
know what
having
river.
like total brain fog. It's out right now. It just started this week on Netflix. I
Maybe girlfriends can like send
girlfriend, yeah.
a
If someone
message in the
is
chat
thinking
or
of it,
comment.
with
What's the
Mel and Jack, I can't think of the show right now. But like, I love those kinds of shows, sappy, the kinds of stuff my husband would be like, "Serious, I am not going to watch this with you." And I'm like, "Please don't. No, no, I don't want you to ruin it."
Yeah.
Because this is for me, and I love this so much. Um, but something else that I've been thinking about what it is about this story in particular, and I think it's something like kind of coachy, which is that I think that each of us is excellent at something or many
Mm.
things, but most of us don't let ourselves shine doing those things. And so I loved how we dropped in on this story of these two men at the beginning of this excellent career for themselves, where it seemed so natural and easy. And I'm thinking about Alyssa Liu, who of course, gold medalist
Yes,
from our hometown.
from
um,
Oakland
and
represent.
how she won gold, having the time of her life. You could see it in her body. Wasn't no stress. She wasn't worried. She was out there to do her art and be her art and make us all be on that trip with her. There's something so fucking sexy about seeing people be excellent and be themselves doing it, and we don't see a lot of that in the culture. And so I
Mhm,
think that was another thing about this. These two were like so excellent, and it was a natural expression of who they are on the
mhm,
ice. And so
mhm.
of course they would be pitted against each other because everyone loves drama and nonsense and a fight, and which is obviously so toxic and disgusting. But that was sort of like part of the story, that like they were being pitted against each other,
Yeah.
and that somehow that made it hotter for them to like come together and have these like sexy clandestine moments. And that seemed like part of the fun of it all, of like
Oh my
if
gosh.
everybody only knew some rivalry, we're like getting it on every chance we get. I
Yeah.
loved that. I just thought that was really cool. But it's part of, I think, what made them both so attractive to us as an audience, but also to each other in the story, was that self-expression and in their own lane of excellence.
I love that. And the athletic excellence is, it's such a thing that we can worship because it's so beautiful to see these people. And when you mentioned Alyssa Liu and just thinking of how she was dancing on ice with such freedom, I think we all can kind of like have a catharsis experience when we watch someone really fully expressing themselves, right? And her fascinating story about how she had to cut some of her ties with her father, reclaim how she wanted to train, how she wanted to dress, how she wanted to choose her own music. You really felt someone stepping into their own autonomy in that dance. And I
Mhm.
love that we got to celebrate that versus something that felt like it was more performative. And to your point, these two incredible athletes, well, and all the athletes that they were showing in this hockey show really were at the top of their game. And that and yet carrying this deep, deep secret that they were worried could blow up their entire careers. But how amazing could it be to do it out loud? Also, I don't know about you, but it got me thinking about all the athletes. I'm like, hi, you're all hot, you're all buff. Like, there's a lot more of this going on than people, talk about. And so, what a nice way to just open this up. And, it's everyone's decision how public they want to be. But boy, it does make you think about like what a hot setting for like a locker room. Like, yeah, you think?
And these peak moments, whether it's the Olympics or a World Cup, what's the hockey, the Stanley Cup? I don't know what all these
I have
terms are, but
no
like,
idea.
these big rivalries, these competitions, and
Yeah.
everyone's like, ah, all this
Yes,
testosterone. I
right.
just, yes, you're right. I think at these, traveling away, being on the road, I'm sure this kind of stuff is happening all the time.
Come on.
And yeah, I'm sure that all adds to the hotness of it all. Um, and and just a little spoiler alert: if you haven't watched the show, you may not want to listen to this part. But like for me, watching
Yeah.
that coming out scene,
Mm,
oh my gosh! I mean, and it reminded me, like I said earlier, we all have something we'd like to be able to come out of the closet and say,
that's
"There's this
right.
thing about me that I haven't told you, but." It's part of who I am, and I need to say it. And because you're important to me, I want you to know.
Yeah.
And I think that it was shown and depicted so beautifully. And the way the parents handled it, it took me on this roller coaster of like, oh no, yes, oh no. It was so beautiful. And I genuinely cried. I mean, I love a good cry when I'm watching something. Oh my gosh. But this just really spoke to that part of me too of like, yeah, what are the things I've been talking about this a lot. Like, there's a lot of my freakiness that's starting to like, I'm just coming out with like, hey, I'm fleshy and I'm into this and this and this and this, and you like it or you don't.
Yeah.
And I think there's such a freedom at this stage of life that so
Hmm.
many of us are learning about ourselves, which is like
Yeah.
learning you can get bacon out of your elbow. But
Hmm.
it is also like, this is me.
Yeah. This is
Finally,
me.
finally me out in the
Yeah.
open, unafraid, unashamed. You can think your thoughts, but it's not gonna affect me and how I live my life.
The power of feeling fully seen is really something, and for us to witness this in this show and to witness it in such a beautiful way that is one way it can happen. We've seen plenty of depictions where it's horrible and it's bad. Why not give everybody a roadmap, including parents, about how they can be more accepting, how they can be more open? I mean, really, when we think about it, at the end of the day, that part of our identity it's not that it's unimportant, but it's just one little small factor in what makes us who we are. And there's so much turmoil around this, and just to put it out there is really liberating for all of the family members. So if families in general can rally around and be allies and be more accepting, like we really can make positive change together. And so I think witnessing that in this show was a way of witnessing what is possible, and I thought it was really beautiful. I think it's actually making history by doing that.
I think so. I think
Yeah,
so.
and I love your idea. Yes, we are all coming out. Let's wave our freak flags a little bit more, right? At this point, who cares, right? Like we're just not as invested in getting anyone's permission or approval anymore. And as we're seeing in these characters, that's a burden for them that's placed on them early in life. It's like if you come out, you are pretty much guaranteed that you're going to have some people disapproving you. And so at some point, you just have to live your life and say, oh, well, screw it. Right. And I
Mhm.
actually think that when you are someone like that and you do that, it actually makes you more powerful and brave for other things in your life. So I think that it's a great reminder for all of us that there's other people who are living their truth, who have huge reasons why they may not. And if they can do it, we can as well, in whatever little way that is, big or little way that is for us.
Yeah, absolutely.
Ah,
Yeah. Oh my gosh, this show rocked me. And good news, there's a season 2 is planned. So it's already been greenlit. I had to look that up the minute. I didn't realize the last episode was the last episode.
oh, I know. It was so short.
It
The
felt
whole
so
series.
short, and I was like waiting for that for them to like accept right who they were for each other.
Yeah.
And so to have that happen in the last episode, I was like, okay, well, God, I can't wait to see what's next. And then that was it. So I was like, but I was like having immediate withdrawal. I remember
Oh,
texting
totally.
you too.
I totally. We all were. We were all going online, like, I'll meet you at the cabin. I mean, just the floodgates, right? Because,
Oh
yeah.
my gosh. So season 2 is coming, y'all. We're gonna have to wait obviously a good while for it. But ooh, I am just so excited
Yeah.
because this does feel like a real game changer, right? That a show depicting two men in love is like the hottest new thing, has been greenlit for season 2, fully mainstream. I'm like, yes, this is what we need. More, 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 more. And I
That's
just
the
want to,
name of the book series, Game Changers.
oh, is it?
Yep. Of the
I
original
love
book
that.
series, which I
But
haven't read, but to learn
I
about that. Yeah. And it
yeah.
is, right? Right? That's fun. It is a game changer. Yeah.
And I
It
just
is.
want, I want it. I think it's not just salacious and juicy and
No.
sexy, which it is all those things, but it's also a reminder like, why does it speak to us? And I want to invite everybody to do a little bit of their own exploring because I feel like there's something allowing us all to shake a little bit loose, shake some things free that don't fit anymore. And we're realizing playing that old game, being small, being good girls, being, pleasing and like being married and all heteronormative and all those things, it's not really all that fulfilling. I
Mm.
think self expression is where it's at. And I think that that's going to be I want that to be the new normal. I want that to be the
Mhm.
new thing. It's like I feel like we're all puzzle pieces, and like because everyone's still like so many of us are holding our breath and
Mm.
pretending to be something that we're not. I
Mm.
think we're just losing opportunities to kind of settle in, unzip our pants, go as high up if we need, like whatever we need to do to be comfortable and be self-expressed and really loving ourselves. I feel like to me, that was really the take-home message from watching this. At least that was the
Mm.
message for me that I'm apparently sharing here on the podcast. Is that that's what I want for all of us.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And to be comfortable in our own skin, right? And to really, really open up what that means for us. And it can change. So I'm curious what they'll do with the next season because I kind of feel like their romance was perfect. I don't know if I want to know any more about them, but maybe there's other characters, right, from the series that they'll draw on, or maybe we get to see the more grown up, relationship after they were driving away from the cabin. So it was just so perfect. There's part of me that's like wanting to protect how beautiful that all was, but I will be here for more.
Oh
Absolutely.
yeah. I
And I
mean, the
sure hope they
therapist
have
in
as much artistic control over this next season. I really, really hope that for them.
Oh, I hope so too, because it's
Yeah.
clearly part of the secret sauce. I think there's a lot more to say because, like, the therapist in me, I was looking at everyone's attachment style. I was like, oh, yeah, they are
Ah,
not in for a smooth ride because,
no.
that neither of them seemed very securely attached, and they were a little bit mismatched, I think, emotionally. So I do think there's a
Yes.
lot to tell. Plus, navigating being in the public eye, being in the
Yep.
public sphere.
And I was doing a little research for this. Do you know that the character Shane was in the books? He's autistic.
Uh, oh, he seemed quite autistic in the show to
Yeah,
me. I saw
I mean,
that.
they didn't openly say that, but I'm like, "Oh, yeah,
No.
that makes sense." And so will they actually be more open about how he is neurodivergent and how that can impact a relationship and how, how you navigate that in a relationship? That could be really interesting. Yeah.
Right, exactly. And it seemed like that's a lot of what his parents were able to provide for him. But
Yes.
what's his name? Rozanov doesn't seem like an ideal partner for someone who's neurospicy and might need a certain amount of like security and stability and a safe place where he can take the mask off, right? We know that
Right.
so many people are masking. They have to hold their breath and keep it together all day long, and they come home and they blah, they fall apart. So that
Yes.
will be an interesting part of the story. Yeah, it's a good point. I do hope that they bring that into the storyline.
Yeah, yeah, and I'd love to see the other couple a little more. Where are they since they, skated off the ice together? How are they all
Yeah,
doing?
because that relationship seemed weird. It was just like, boom, I'm madly in love with you. And I was like, what?
Yeah.
What?
Oh, I
So
know.
that story felt a little sped up for me. I'm not sure I
Mm,
bought that one as much.
mm.
Infatuation, yes, but like I'm going to make this huge proclamation just after because you served me coffee. I don't know. It didn't quite match for me. That didn't
Uh,
feel as
uh,
authentic.
that's
It was,
interesting.
yeah,
I It worked for me in that he had been bursting to make a move in his life, right? Like he had been so closeted, so covered, so masking that I almost felt like for him, when he finally took his mask off, it was like a gushing river. That was sort of how I read that.
yeah.
But
Oh, I
I don't,
read that too. It just
yeah,
didn't feel like a long term relationship to me. To
yeah,
me, it just felt like in the moment. But he was changing his whole life around the. Was that Kip? Kip was
yes.
the barista. Yeah,
Yep, Chip the barista, right?
yeah,
But I have heard from gay friends that there is a dynamic that they felt was familiar where you've got oftentimes an older, more wealthy, established person and someone who's younger who can play a little more of the domestic role. So
mm,
there seemed like there was some truth. But to your point, I know what you mean that maybe the storyline of them going from like hiding out in an apartment together to like making it known on the ice was maybe a little much, but I loved it. I'm still here for it. I mean, if we can have the end of 16 Candles, which is like a horrible movie that did not age well, but if we can have that kissing over the cake scene, then we can have the updated, more like accepting version of that, you know?
yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So I just loved it. Thank you so much for like wanting to have this talk with me on the pod
Oh my
because this
god.
was like really delightful also to revisit it and to be thinking
Yeah.
about it again.
Yeah. Oh,
And just this weekend we had the Oscars. Did you see the two actors? We got to okay, if you look down below once we upload this, there's going to be a picture of these two beautiful actors, the way they dressed for the Oscars. Oh my God, that was everything.
okay, I caught a video clip. Is it them wearing the sheen
The mesh
shirt?
shirts.
Yeah, the mesh shirts. Woo! Yeah, that was hotness right there.
I thought too it was interesting right when the show was coming out and being really popular. The guy who plays Hollander,
Mhm.
he's in a relationship with a woman. And so
Yeah.
they became Instagram official during the height of this. And I wonder too if he just felt like, I need to like set the record straight. And I do think she went to the show with him. But I think that made me love those characters even more.
Yeah.
Right? I don't know. Somehow that like I was like, oh, I just love it even more.
I mean, I think what they do in their private lives is like it's unimportant. They were able to connect on a human level and tell this story and tell it really, really well. And that I think is what matters more than anything else. And I think that's why it's so interesting that a woman wrote it, right? And, perhaps a straight actor played the part. We're not totally sure, like no one's done an official coming out or anything, but all of these things I think remind us that if we can like get to the humanity in our stories and in the way we see each other, we can come to it from different lived experiences as long as we're like being open and honest with it. And again, I just feel like anything we have right now to give us some hope and some joy and some freaking humanity is like we're so ready for it. We're so here for it, you know?
Absolutely. And we can see the culture changing, right? This feels like one of those important moments where it just
Yeah.
shifted enough that we're like, that is progress. We are moving in the right direction. People's hearts are opening. We are more accepting of just like seeing that humanity between each other. And that to me, that is just so important. And that's the
Yeah.
only way I want to live my life. And so I'm really grateful. Hats off to the whole team that made
Yeah.
the show Heated Rivalry, the actors, the writer, everybody. Thank you, HBO, for picking it up.
Yeah.
Um, and thank you, Jessica, for introducing me to it because you and I were at a Galentine's party and I didn't know what the hell anybody was talking about. I was like, what are you talking about? And then that
I was
weekend
like,
changed my
girl,
life.
you have got a treat. And didn't you binge it in one weekend? Isn't that what you texted me
Oh, yeah.
after?
I fell down the rabbit hole and I just loved it so much. And for many of the reasons that I've now like expressed to myself in writing, but now here on the pod
I love
verbally.
it. I love it. This is what girlfriends of a certain age is all about. It's like we got to tell each other about the great good things that are giving us hope and life and just pleasure. I mean, that is what it's all about. So, yay, I'm so glad you loved it. And girlfriends listening, let us know in the comments, what did you find fun about Heated Rivalry? And to Flaché's question earlier, what did it want you to bring out in yourself? How did it make you perhaps want to step out and, show something about yourself that maybe earlier in your life you weren't so sure to share about? But I love this talk and I love you, and
Love you.
delightful to talk about this together.
Yay. Thank you for being here, besties. We love you guys. We'll see
We
you
do.
soon. Bye.
Okay, bye.